The Rockpile Report, the pettiest, hardest drinking Bills podcast. Bills bye week. Only 2 shows this week, so we figured we'd throw you an After Dark. We have not done an After Dark since before the season began. And before Drew and I press record tonight, we were talking about how I'm going to Kansas for Christmas. And there's a spot in Weston, Missouri, probably an hour away. It's like Buffalo to Rochester from where my brother lives, over to Weston, Missouri, where they do have the Holiday Distillery, one of the best distillery tours I've been on. They got a great bottled and bond bourbon. If you can find it, get it. Within Weston, Missouri, there's a spot called the Whiskey Snug. And it's in the back of the Celtic Ranch, which is like an apparel shop in this tiny-ass town. And they have like a upstairs whiskey bar. You could take a spiral staircase up to the whiskey bar and try samples. They have a bunch of whiskeys and bourbons, Irish whiskeys, Japanese whiskeys that you can buy. Before we were press record tonight, we were looking over their whiskey menu. And they have in there Alberta Premium Rye Cask Strength at $15 for a pour. Now, I have a bottle of that I bought for $34.99 at Caputi's in the North Towns. So you're telling me 2 pours equals 1 bottle of Alberta Cask Strength Rye, which is what this Old Fashioned is made out of, is the Alberta Premium Cask Strength Rye. So I hope you enjoy it. It's like 63.7% alcohol.
Wow. She's stiff. Whew. Stiff like a riff, baby. So we're After Dark. One of the things we didn't get a chance to talk about in tonight's podcast, we didn't get to do our weekly segment of people who have it worse than Bills fans. Now, Chris, do you want to hit me with that, the worst drop? I feel like these folks, they know, but they still need to hear it.
Yeah, I'll have to find it. Here we go.
The worst.
One of the lowlights from the loss to Philadelphia was this fracas that got caught on tape between Bills players and members of the Eagles fan base. And I'll be honest with you, I have no illusions of grandeur about our players. Right? Like, I assume that they're volatile human beings. They're probably maybe in the wrong. I'll say this. Anytime you can't avoid putting your hands on somebody else because of words, you're in the wrong. Words are nothing. Now, maybe that's easy for me to say because I don't have a... Chris, we joke about it all the time, but it's not a joke. We're narcissists and we're dead inside. It's a dangerous combination.
Yes.
True or false?
Dangerous.
It makes it almost like dangerous in the sense that you're never going to hurt me with words because I don't care what you think. You're never going to provoke a response from me, or at least an emotional one, because I don't care what you think. I don't know you. You're a stranger, whether it be on social media, whether it be in real life. I don't know you. I just assume you're an idiot because I'm a narcissist, in which case your opinion is devalued, in which case I don't care what you think. And that's how I live my life, and it's actually got me pretty far. It's actually got me surprisingly far, all things considered. Chris, I'll drink to that. Raise a glass, baby.
Stiff?
Ooh, she's stiff, baby.
63.7%.
Here's what I'll say. I don't hate the Eagles fan. Like, I don't hate the Eagles as a franchise. Right? The Philadelphia Eagles have actually been a very good football team for a very long time, and I've had a lot of fun rooting for the Eagles. You know, one of my favorite Eagles teams, I want to say you got to go back to like 2004. Like, Chris, if you can do me a favor, 2004 Eagles roster. I want to say it was Trot Thomas on the offensive line, Brian Dawkins, the immortal Brian Dawkins playing safety, one of the best defensive backs to ever play the game. Just the fact that he had ball skills, but he was physical. You talk about the fact that they had, here, go to rosters and players, right there. Bang. There's a link right there. Open that in a separate tab. Scroll down for me. Yeah. Like, one of my favorite things was Jeremiah Trotter. Jeremiah Trotter, if you like the way a front seven plays, he was a middle linebacker's middle linebacker. He played, and then I think my favorite storyline for Philly is that he left the franchise for a little bit and then came back. The dude was amazing. I love it. He was in Philly, went to Washington, came back in 2004. Still a Pro Bowler. Still a star. Left, chased the money, went to Washington, sucked, came back to Philly, immediately a Pro Bowler again. Like, how do you not love that guy? You talk about the offensive line. You talk about the fact they had Lito Shepherd. Lito Shepherd, I think, was one of the most underrated. I mean, I know he was a Pro Bowler, but one of the most underrated corners in football. Because the guy would just, I think that now when we talk in the annals of football history, the guy never got his due. I know Philly football. One of my favorite plays in football history was the Miracle in the Meadowlands, when I think the punter's name was Dodge, and he was stupid enough to punt to Deshaun Jackson after Tom Coughlin explicitly told him to kick it out of bounds. And Jackson had the swagger to run across the goal line and burn all the clock before he ran it in for a touchdown. Like, I like the Philadelphia Eagles, or at least I don't have a reason to hate them. And yet they're fans. God.
I can get behind their fans because they threw shit at Santa, and I don't like Christmas, so I can get behind Philadelphia fans with that.
Can you?
Oh, yeah.
Just their hatred for Santa?
Oh, yeah. I don't like Christmas at all. Okay. Worst holiday ever.
So here's what's hilarious to me. And I guess it needs some pretext, but in the aftermath of the loss to Philly this weekend, this whole thing about the fight with our players and their fans come out, and their fans start to think, well, this is why Buffalo fans are against us. No, this has nothing to do with it. I thought you were all pieces of garbage way before this. People from Philadelphia have been garbage on my radar for long before this football game started. Well before we ever lost to you guys, we thought you were trash. Now, I'd like to explain why. And I think we need to kind of rewind almost a little bit. Starts off like reports after the Kansas City game. Fans claiming that Eagles fans were sending them death threats and just a lot of ugly DMs. Caused a lot of acrimony. Philly fans got really defensive. They disputed this, prove it, show us the receipts. But also upset that no one was giving them the benefit of the doubt. Right? Chris, no one gave Philly fans the benefit of the doubt.
No.
That they didn't do these things that they were being accused of. Then you think back to last year's, NFC Championship game, and you think about how it kind of played out with the 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles, and you hear some of the stories from the 49ers players about how they were treated by fans and everything else. And Philly fans go, we didn't do that. That's an exaggeration. And everyone goes, yeah, we don't believe you. And they are incensed because they don't understand why. Here's what I love. Bruce Nolan actually started this entire debacle. He sent out a tweet. Chris, if you can go find it, it would be funny to screenshot it and kind of put it in this just so that we can. But he basically tweeted out that he's a Bills fan because of Philly fans, and told the story about how he went to a game as a child and witnessed a bunch of Philadelphia fans assaulting another fan for no other reason than he was wearing another team's jersey inside their stadium. And so he came home and told his dad, look, I don't want to be a fan of a team that behaves like that, so I need to pick a new team. And his family was just like, okay, cool. If that's what you got to do. And then he became a Bills fan throughout his own, machinations. And it's funny to me that, so I comment with my own story about my experience with people from Philly, or a time, not the only, but just one example of how you had a garbage experience with people from Philadelphia. Guess what? I have one too. That's funny. You have one, and I have one. So I explained how a guy that I met in Pittsburgh at a party, he was dating a girl who lived there. He was from Philly. Got drunk and was bragging to everyone, that him and his friends snuck batteries inside pill bottles into the link to throw at Vince Young in his first game back from having like a mental breakdown and having to take a hiatus from football. You remember that, Chris?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Vince Young had a mental breakdown and had to take a sabbatical from the game of football. Well, he was a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. And while he was sitting on their bench, this guy was proud of the fact that him and his friends assaulted him with batteries inside of pill bottles. And then when his story didn't get a round of applause or a laugh or whatever he was expecting, or what I assume he gets at home when he tells that story, he proceeded to call us all stuck-up pricks. Oh, you guys are just a bunch of pricks. Because we are the ones with the problem. And the hilarious part about that is that later on in the night, we're at Hofbrauhaus in Pittsburgh. That was before they had started to expand to other cities. And I go outside for a cigarette and I look, and I just see him snapped in a headlock. He's just in a headlock by some strange guy. And I was like, you know what? That tracks. That's hilarious. Deserved. So then people start piggybacking with their own anecdotal evidence of, hey, I've had a poor interaction with Philly fans. And somehow the denizens of Philadelphia found that conversation thread and decided to inject themselves into it. Now, Chris, you know how I deal with social media.
Sure. I haven't followed this at all.
You tried avoiding it actively. It was like every time I open my phone, there's just more shit.
Well, I'll just pull down the bar and then swipe everything, get rid of these notifications, because I don't care.
And that's it. We don't care. So I put out a poll, knowing that they were watching our Twitter feed, I was like, I want everyone to tell me, genuinely, have you ever had a bad experience with Philadelphia people? And they took that and ran with it. And it was a thing I did in a moment of, hey, I know they're watching. Maybe I'll get some actual critical feedback, but also I might just upset them. And that's okay too. And when I did it, I didn't expect it to turn into this. Chris, if we can find it, in fact, I got to go to our Twitter. Where are we now with this? I feel like it's reached critical mass here. Over 60,000 views. It's been... No. Whoa. Here we go. Yeah. 80,000, almost 90,000 people have viewed this thing. It's been retweeted almost 100 times with various insulting comments and various forms of degradation at the hands of... Because the Philadelphia crowd found it like I thought they would and took it and ran with it. And what I find funniest about it is that if you go through most of the comments, you guys can see it for yourself over at... In fact, I'll pin it right now to our profile over at Rockpile Report on Twitter. It's one of those situations where you say something about someone and they go, we didn't do that, and then they prove your point for you. But Chris, it's almost like they don't understand why they don't get the benefit of the doubt.
I don't know, dude, I'm in our notifications right now. I don't know if you're looking in our notifications right now, but so I guess somebody replied to it just now whose avatar is that of a autistic, drunk Berenstein Bear. I don't know.
Good.
I don't know if you see that in our notifications, but yeah, some people from Philly are mad about it.
Somebody just tweeted and said, "You're a piece of shit. I'm not religious, but if I were, I would be certain that you're going to hell." And I just sent them a gif of someone playing a small violin. Because I do not care about your thoughts or feelings. And that's the best part about this, is that the people who started this have no idea what they've wrought. Going through all this, guys, like here, Chris, as I've sent you the screenshots, you can see kind of here, and maybe here,
or maybe
here,
or maybe below,
are examples of the garbage we're talking about. This is why people do not care about the feelings of Philadelphia citizens. It's also why you do not get the benefit of the doubt when a player says, "Hey," or another fan, or somebody else says, "Hey, this person from Philly said something inflammatory to me." Now, I understand where it comes from. Your city is, if you look at the spectrum of what cities are, Philadelphia scores low on almost everything, from obesity to literacy rates to poverty.
Why do you think Charlie Kelly had a literacy problem on Always Sunny?
I know. They tried to make it true to life. And yet they're mad about it. But this is real life. This is what we're talking about. So, once again, you're dealing with this situation where I put some chaff out there. It's almost like I chummed the water and I just waited for them to show up. And they did in spades. Now, it's hilarious to me that this city full of people who, like, they're mad at Bills fans for not giving them a thought or whatever it is that they think they're being besmirched about in this situation by us. And they're like, "Well, you're just mad that you lost." No, everyone's hated you guys since well before that. Like, Chris, if I could read, like, it goes back years. All you have to do is trust Google. Just Google, "Why does Philadelphia suck?" You're regaled. You're regaled with reasons to not like this city. Whether it just be the racism or the the sharp rise in violent crime,
or the people that are from Philadelphia.
Why are you pointing at Bill Cosby?
He's from Philadelphia.
Are you saying they have to claim him too?
Yeah. Dude rapes women, underage women.
I mean, okay, but
he's from Philly.
But you can't blame all of Philly for that. You can't blame all of Philly for that. And that's been my point all along. Is that, guys, I'm not trying to paint with a broad brush. When I started my conversation, it didn't involve Philadelphia. It didn't involve the whole city of Philadelphia that decided to show up in this tweet or that tweet or these responses. Like our friend was giving a sermon at a Philly church and they stole from him and then tried to defend it in the middle of the sermon, and it generated this response. Like, you can't make this stuff up. It's wild to me that you don't understand why no one gives you the benefit of the doubt. Can we just all agree, Chris, as we finish our cocktails, can we just agree that at a certain point, if they're willing to be this tone deaf, then we no longer have to care about the way they think and feel?
Mm-hmm.
Like, at this point, it's almost a bit. They're just being obtuse for the sake of being obtuse.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Fuck. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, also, definitely not. They're off the list. But reasonably, I think that we can all agree that it's not a great thing. Like, it's just not great, right? It's not a great look for them. And it's also not a great look for me to try to, like, I don't know. Hey, whoa. Who am I to argue with a guy who pukes on children intentionally? That's your guy?
Yeah.
No. You guys. No, you're right. You're right. We're all the problem, Philadelphia, not you guys. We, collectively, as a society here in the United States, are a problem. It's you guys who have it figured out. Chris, this has been a lot of fun. That Twitter thing went better than I ever could have expected. And again, it's hilarious because it's still going on. And these dopes don't understand. I don't care. Okay, you don't care. It's like, oh, we live rent-free in your head. Do you know what a loser statement that is? You don't live rent-free in my head. I don't think about you at all. That's it. I don't know any of you. I don't care about you. Your city could fall into a sinkhole tomorrow, and all I would do was drive like a couple hours wider than I have to get to North Carolina. That's it. Chris, would anyone miss Philadelphia if it disappeared?
No.
Exactly. What's their major industry now? Philadelphia? Do you know? Like what?
I don't know. I drove through Philadelphia this summer on my comedy road trip because I was going from Arlington, Virginia up to Connecticut, and I had to go through Philly. I did drive by the Link. I mean, it looks nice from the freeway. And I believe, didn't somebody start a fire under a bridge and collapse a section of their highway this summer? I'm going to have to...
That wouldn't shock me.
Guys. I'm going to have to Google that right now. Yeah, Philly highway collapse. Body recovered from rubble of I-95 highway collapse. This happened in June this year. Yes, because Jessica and I were going to take 95 through Philadelphia on our way to Connecticut on a road trip, and I was like, oh, I hope they get this highway fixed that collapsed because there was like some homeless fire. No, it wasn't a homeless fire. That happened in Atlanta. That was Atlanta. A tanker caught fire underneath the bridge that was I-95 and caused a section of it to collapse.
Here's what I love. There's an actual, like the most meaningful statues they have for sports figures in their city. One of them isn't even real. The fucking Rocky statue. Kiss my ass. The Bills may not have a Super Bowl, but at least we don't have a fake statue to a movie character in our fucking city. God, they make.
Would you take a statue of Bill Fichtner?
Bill Fichtner.
He's from Cheektowaga.
No, I would not. No, I would not. I would choose to pass. Guys, I think we've made our point. I think we've done enough punching down for one night. And the funny thing is, they'll find this video, and they'll comment, and they'll say things, and I won't read any of them. This is the best part. I don't care. They doubt the depths of my narcissism. It's all right. They'll learn. Stick around. Keep watching. Guys, this has been fun, but we got to get out of here. I'm Drew Gear. That's Chris Kruger, and we're here after dark.